are you?
Hi. Sorry I didn't call you Friday. I got one of those last minute, the perks of having your own plane and being a private pilot who was at the beck and call of that person with the plane. You just decided last minute you want to fly and you're a pilot. So I had grandkid meetings and swim lessons. Daddy had to go fly.
Well, it's fine. I just know you were busy with something.
Well, very last minute.
There she is. Oh, I guess we'll wait for a minute more. You're fine. We need a strap. Randy, can I just grab you one and give you?
Please.
You're welcome. I just sanitized my hand.
I trust you.
I need a strap.
Just heads up.
Okay.
So we're here for Yoga Flow. It's Tuesday the 13th of July. So let yourself sit comfortably. You know you're welcome to grab as many blankets as anything that feels good for you to sit on, really. A bolster, whatever feels good. But get comfortable. Whoops, take this off now. Let yourself be easy and mindful about lengthening up through the top of your head. Let your shoulders release down. And just very gently close your eyes. And let your focus come downward with your eyes closed, like you're looking down towards the floor there, in front of you. And then bring your gaze back forward, keeping your eyes closed, and let your eyes look to the left. And then come back through center and look to the right. And then come back to center and try to look up a little bit, almost like you're looking up towards your eyebrows without moving your head. And then bring your gaze on back forward again. And now just let your eyes kind of look up towards the right corner, like you're looking up towards the right corner. And then look down towards the left corner a little bit. And then look up in the left corner. And then look down in the right corner. And then again, just let your eyes go wherever they want, just with your eyes still gently closed. And then just lengthen up through the crown of your head. Let yourself feel that sense of your spine, finding as much space as you can. And allow your breath to come in and go out through your nose as fully and deeply as you're comfortable to do, really. So feeling the breath coming into the belly, maybe even into those three parts if that's easy for you. Let your face be soft. We'll start to circle the torso with our breath. So how big you make these circles is totally up to you. Think about keeping your back long, and you can allow your exhales to bring you forward and your inhales to bring you back. And just keep circling in the same direction. And sometimes when you do that, it feels good to let your circles get bigger and bigger, and sometimes it doesn't. Just easily allow yourself to feel this gentle movement with your breath. And next time you end up forward a little bit, we're going to reverse the circles. So let yourself stop and then just unwind. And again, you may decide to start really small and get bigger and bigger. You may feel fine to just stay about the same that you were, circling in the other direction. Off to where you can come back up to sitting nice and easily, just lengthening upward again up through the top of your head, and let your arms come on out beside you. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead, and let our exhale bring our hands right down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse and inhale our hands right up through the midline, and on the exhale open the arms on back out and down. And now let's make a big circle, inhaling the arms forward, up over the top, and exhale as they come down as far back behind you as you can. And then just reverse the circle. Start reaching back first, and then come up and over the top and bringing the arms on down here in front of you. And now inhale your hands straight out in front of you. Turn your palms to face each other for a second. And then turn your palms away from each other so the thumbs face down and the pinkies face up. And then bring your hands together in front of your chest and let the backs of your hands be gently touching. And then let them come out a little bit away from you and start to circle your hands around, but keep them connected as you start to circle a little bit, moving through the wrists here. So don't press real harshly into your hands, but just keep that gentle connection, whether it's the backs of the hands, the outside edges, the inside of your fingers. Just be really mindful. Let it feel really easy, like you're very softly moving through the wrist. And you stop where you want, because we're going to reverse those circles as well. So let yourself come in the other direction with these. And just feel your hands and your wrists. And of course it comes all the way up into your arms and your shoulders. And the next time that you end up with your hands, palms, and fingers together there to be in front of your chest, go ahead and come into your hands right there, thumbs coming in towards your breastbone. And then let's inhale the hands all the way up a little bit higher than our head. Interlace your fingers here now. Clasp your hands, really squeeze them a little bit. And then turn your palms upward. Now you may have to bring your arms forward. If sending your hands directly above your head is not good for your shoulders, go forward if you need. Let yourself feel your sitting bones reaching down and feel very equal to the sides of your body. Good. Let's lean over a little bit to the left. Let yourself come into right side stretch. You don't have to go far, that's for sure. Just reach up into the heel of that right hand a little more. And then come on back up to the top, and we'll go the other way. So again, just gently pressing into the heel of that left hand. Feel that sense of a little more space between the ribs. Nice. And then we'll come on back up to the top. We're going to release our arms on down beside us. Bring your hands behind you. Be up on your fingertips. So you just got your hands back there. Your chest is going to draw forward. And look up just a tiny little bit. Try not to let your head drop back really right now. Just enjoy feeling that sense of the sternum coming forward. The belly is gently engaging, right? One more breath. And then release to let yourself flex your feet and come on forward into a little bit of a forward bend. Now, how much of a forward bend? Totally up to you. You can stay with your back long, pressing gently into the outside edges of your feet and stay up high. Or perhaps it feels fine to you to go a little further and a little further and a little further forward. That is really up to you. Just be mindful of how your back feels and your hips. Let yourself release your jaw there, and if you can, let your head hang too, unless it bothers your back. It's fine to keep your head in line with your spine, but still let go of your face and your jaw. Good. Now come up enough to where you can have your arms straight and your hands in front of you there on the floor, or your legs, and then just shift a little bit with your torso side to side, but keep your hands centered. And you can shift at your own timing. If you feel like going to one side and staying there a little bit, do. If it feels better just to continuously let yourself shift a little bit side to side, do. Good. And then make your way back into center, and we're going to make our way all the way on up. Let's switch the cross of our legs if we're cross-legged. If you need to stretch your legs out for a second, by all means do. But when you come back into those crossed legs, just make sure you have your other leg in front there. And let's release our arms again on out beside us. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And let our exhale bring our hands right down through the midline to rest in front of our chest. And then we'll reverse and inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. And let's come forward again here. Flex the feet. Let yourself ease your way forward. Maybe you're up on your fingertips, not very far forward at all. If that's better for your back, you're more than welcome to come farther out. Again, it's up to you. Really feel those feet flexing a little bit, and if you're cross-legged, feel the outside edges of your feet just gently coming into the floor. It's not a harsh thing, but you're aware of that feeling of the outside edges of the feet into the floor. And then again, as you're centered with your hands, let your torso shift a little bit side to side. Just be mindful, let it feel good. Feel like you want to stay on one side a little bit because you find a bit of a tight place that you need a little bit longer just to give it some time, then do that. Nice. And then we're going to slowly come back to center and walk our way all the way on back up. Take a nice inhale once you're here. And as you exhale, twist to your left. Bring your right hand on around, maybe towards your left knee. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. See if you can turn your head just a little tiny bit more to look back behind yourself. And now stay in the twist, but start to turn your head back around so that you turn to look over your right shoulder. And ease your way there. And only go as far as you can. If you feel a tightness like I do right now, don't push it. Just be mindful. One more breath. And as you exhale, let everything just unwind back around right into center, into front. Inhaling here. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to our right. Left hand is going to come around, maybe to your left, to your right knee. That's totally up to you. Just let your body adjust into the twist. Feel your sitting bones in the floor, the twist in the middle of your back. Good. And now, on your next exhale, if you can think of turning to look a little more behind yourself, don't force it. And then one more breath. And as you exhale now, you're going to stay in the twist, but your head is going to come back around through center and then look over towards the left. So you go as much over towards looking over that left shoulder as you can. Good. One more breath. Now let your exhale just easily bring everything back around into center again. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down through the midline and be in front of our hearts. And we will unwind and shake out from here. We're going to come on around towards our hands and knees. So do whatever you need. Move through your feet, your ankles. And if you, for being on hands and knees, prefer to be up on a blanket, by all means do. And be mindful of your wrists. If you need to come on to fists, come on to fists. You know, if it feels better to you to let yourself be on blocks down on your forearms or the floor, do. For a second, curl both sets of toes under and shift your hips back just a little bit to stretch out the bottoms of your feet here. Doesn't have to be far. It's up to you. You know, it's up to your knees. It's also up to your joints, your toes, bottoms of your feet. And then come on back, press into the tops of the toes, and come on into your cat pose, rounding up, navel drawing towards the spine. And then on your own timing, when you inhale, you can move back through into your cow. And you can, of course, move at your own pace here. So whether you decide to move continuously with your breath or stop and stay in cat or cow, for a breath or two without moving, that is totally up to you. Feel the tops of the feet gently pressing into the floor. Now, if it's possible, whether you get into cat or cow, either one, but you curl your toes under again like we did before and move through your cat-cows that way. Now, be mindful because this puts a lot more pressure into the kneecaps on the floor. So if it bothers you to do this, do not do it. Take your time and finish off whichever one you're moving into. Come back to pointing your feet with the tops of the feet on the floor. And from here, we're going to shift our hips back and come down onto our left forearm and reach our right arm all the way out overhead. And then lower our forehead down onto our forearm. So shifting the hips back as far as you want. Spread your fingers wide, press gently down into your right hand and into your left forearm. And then just let your heart melt. Feel that wonderful sense of release between the shoulder blades on your back. Good. Bring your right hand back just enough to lift up and go ahead and thread the needle with your left arm coming under here now. So if you can, keep your hand, your right hand in front of your face with your elbow bent. And let yourself just, if you can, press a little into that right hand and roll just a little more onto the shoulder into a little bit different place to feel this pose here. Don't force it. Just let yourself release as best you can. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to rise. And we're going to come on back up. And we're going to switch sides. So coming on into that right forearm parallel and left arm overhead and forehead down onto your right forearm at first. And really reaching into that left side and spreading both fingers wide, both sets of hands wide. And press into your right forearm and into that left hand. And then let your heart melt. Just let it feel amazing to let your chest melt down a little bit and open up between the shoulder blades. Good. Now, bring your left hand back a little bit so you can press up enough. We're going to thread the needle with that right arm this time. And let yourself come down onto the right side of your head. But keep your left hand there kind of in front of your face, your elbows bent. And maybe you can press a little bit and roll a little bit more to just a bit different feeling up into between the shoulder blades. A little bit different feeling of where you are on your shoulder and your head too, right? Instead of the head being totally to the side, you might even roll a little bit more to look up with your gaze. Not just play a little bit with it. But again, be mindful, don't push hard. And then we're going to release, let yourself press with that left hand to come on up. Bring your hands farther forward of you and come out like you're doing a half plank. So you lift your feet up off the floor. You're on the flesh above your knees. Bend your elbows a little bit. Let your elbows come in towards your ribs. And then shift back a little bit. Let yourself just, not a full child's pose, just a little bit shift back with your hips. Draw your hands to where you can come to all fours, curl your toes under then, and reach back into a downward facing dog pose. So coming into dog, take your time. Take your time to walk your dog if you need, or shift your hips a little side to side. Bend both your knees if you need to. Just enjoy feeling that. Oh, that's such a wonderful feeling with the backs of the legs. Just very easily opening up just from being in your dog. And then you find that length of your spine. One more breath. And we are going to bring our knees on back down. We're going to step our left foot forward. You might want your blocks. Keep your right knee down. And let's just come on into a lunge with the back knee down for a second. Just pressing into the top of the foot. And nothing extreme. Stay right there. Just let yourself wake up there in the front of the right hip. Let it feel good to press into the top of the toes. And then we'll shift back so we can switch legs. Bringing that right foot forward, and then again, when you shift your hips forward, and you know, in this pose, especially when you're not lifting up at all, your knee might come out a little beyond your ankle or your toes. That's okay. You just don't want to have your foot way back like this and the heel up, right? With that kind of intensity in the knee. So take your time though and press into the top of the left toes. Let it feel really good. Good. And we're going to bring that right knee back. We're going to step the left foot back forward. And from here, we'll rise the back knee up and come on into the full lunge here. So coming into your runner's lunge, take your time. Be mindful of feeling the feet in the floor. Good, and just bring your left hand to your left hip, turn into an easy little twist. So just bring the hand gently onto your low back, roll your shoulder up. Try to stay pretty level. Try not to drop too much into that long right side. Engage your belly. Lengthen out through the top of your head. And then we'll bring that left hand on back down. We're going to switch legs. So really finding that lunge here now. Take your time. Get your alignment. Remember, the front knee now does need to be aligned. And then again, as you bring your right hand easily to your hip and you roll that shoulder up and you place your palm down onto your sacrum there, and you can just enjoy reaching into that inner left heel, out through the top of your head. All that space in the spine, through the whole body really. Long line, beautiful. Then bringing that hand on back down to lunge. Let's step forward. Come on into your standing forward bend. For you of choice, whatever kind of support you want to use, you know that. So you can have your hands on the blocks. You can keep your elbows above your knees to keep that length in your spine. Remember, bending the knees is fine in your forward bend. Be really mindful of letting yourself, not do anything that puts too much pressure into your back. Give yourself time to warm up too. And then just easy breaths. Full deep breaths. Watching your inhales and watching your exhales all the way through. As we now bring our hands up to our hips and bend our knees, we're going to rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down through the midline to be in front of our hearts. So take your time if you want to adjust in your mountain pose. By all means do. Get your feet the right distance apart for you. Actually look down at your feet and see if you can lift all your toes up. And make sure, kind of for a second, roll to the outsides of your feet. See what that feels like, right? And then come back and see if you can roll to the insides of your feet so you kind of go knock-kneed, right? And then see if you can even out the big toe mounds and the little toe mounds on the floor there. Spread your toes out a little bit if possible. And then softly let the toes come on back down to the floor and start to bring your gaze on forward and out, whether your eyes are opened or closed. Feeling that sense of being very balanced between your feet, right to left foot, and the front to the backs of your feet as well. And then it's once you get your pelvis aligned, it's like the body just wants to find its way into alignment. Imagine the crown of the head just reaching up towards the ceiling. Let the pelvis get aligned with the tailbone dropping down, and there you are. Shoulders over hips very easily. Think of your ears being over your shoulders. And then we'll unfold our arms right on down beside us, and we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, as you bend your knees, folding forward from your hips, that takes it out of your back. Come into your standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find a nice long flat back. And we'll step the right foot back and come into lunge here. And inhale, exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So walk your dog a little bit. If you need to adjust in any way, do. And if your feet need a little work, you can roll to the top of one foot at a time and press down into the tops of your toes, which can really bring a lot of release into the feet. And go ahead, finish off back in your full down dog. Elbows hug inward, reach back through your sitting bones equally. And on your next inhale, come on out to your plank. Nice strong plank. See if you can float your right foot up just a little bit off the floor. Let it go just a little bit higher. And then put it back down again. And now your left foot just a little bit off the floor. And then just a little bit higher. And then bring it on back down again. And let yourself from here lower down to the mat. Now, put your knees down first if you need. Elbows right by the ribs. And let's bring our arms straight out from our shoulders, right? So it's like you have your arms palms down, straight out onto the floor. And then from there, lift your head up just a little bit so that your chest is not really high. It's just your head mainly. And then lift your legs up. Good. And now bend your elbows and bring yourself onto your fingertips. So you kind of feel almost like an insect. Your elbows are up and you're on your fingertips, right? And then see if you can maybe lift a tiny bit higher with your chest here a little bit more. One more breath. And then come down. Keep your arms where they are. Bend your knees and flex your feet. Draw your heels in towards your buttocks. And then from there, release your arms down alongside your body and turn your palms down towards the ground. And then as you inhale, lengthen your legs and float everything up into a little locust pose here. So reaching fingertips and toes back towards behind you. And then we'll come on back down, hands by the chest, legs long here. And we're going to make our way back into down dog. So working your way back into your downward facing dog pose. Walk a little bit if you need. Spread your fingers nice and wide. If you have any doubt about your hands being equal on the mat, go ahead and look at them, right? Good. And we'll bring our right foot forward to come into lunge from here. And you can put your left knee down if you need. And then we'll come all the way back into standing forward bend. Again, support however you need. Those of you who love to hold your elbows, it's the most releasing thing because it is kind of like traction in your spine, then go for it. But of course only you know how that feels on your back. So be mindful, feel kind of heavy-headed if you can, so feel the weight of your head. But at the same time, let your face relax and your jaw go. Imagine relaxing your throat. And we will bring our hands back up to our hips. We're going to bend our knees and rise up and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's inhale our hands right back up through the midline on the exhale. Open the arms like wings as we come forward. And let your inhale help you find that flat back. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. We're going to inhale our way out to our plank. We're going to lower down, knees first if you need. And this time come into a sphinx pose on elbows under the shoulders if possible. So coming into this back bend where you're able to be, spread your fingers, let your gaze come there a little bit forward of between your hands. That is if your hands are that far forward. Remember, you can be down lower. And now from here, see if you can flex your right foot and bend the knee and draw the heel in towards your buttocks there. Keep that belly working and then lengthen that leg long, back long again, and go to the left one. So flex the foot. Feel the belly. Feel what it does automatically when you pull that heel in. Now keep that one up. See if you can bring the right one up to join. Now your hips might actually, your hip pointer bones might be off the floor by now, right? They don't have to be. I'm just saying protect yourself how you need with that belly working. And then we're going to release legs down and body down. Bring your hands by your chest. Come up into a little cobra or keep on continuing upward if you choose to, up into your cobra pose. So how high you go in your cobra, totally up to you. See if you can turn your head to look to the right. And then let your gaze come forward and turn your head back to look to the left. And then come on back forward again. One more breath here. And now slowly back down to the floor we go. And we're going to come on back to down dog. So you can come back through a full or a half push-up or hands and knees. And we will bring our left foot forward to come into lunge here. And then we'll come back into standing forward bend again, feet hips distance apart. And breathe. If anyone wants a little more release for their wrist, you can slip your hands under your feet and turn your palms up and have your toes press into the heels of your hands. If that is too much, obviously do not even think about doing it. You bring yourself where you're able. Maybe nod your head a little bit or shake it, whichever feels good, or maybe a little bit of both, whether you say yes or no with your head. And then we're going to release the hands again back up to our hips, bend our knees, and come on up and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms. Bring your hands behind you. Clasp your hands. Now at first, see if you can bend your elbows quite a bit and squeeze your palms towards each other, which will, for most people, elbows bend quite a bit. And you can feel that action up into your biceps, into your shoulders. Make sure you're not tucking your tailbone forward here. And then go ahead and slide the hands down. Let the palms come apart. Let the arms be longer. But again, your hands are right there. You can tell if you're tucking your tailbone up under you, right? Which affects the whole alignment of the spine. One more inhale. And on the exhale, bend your knees and come on forward. Now, everybody knows you stay parallel to the floor if you need. If you like to keep going and fold over your legs and bring your arms off your back, you can. That is an option that is available not to everybody's shoulders, right? So be where you can. Try to feel your sitting bones over your heels. You can remember, bend your knees a little bit. Actually, press your feet away from each other like you're trying to make your mat wider with your feet. And then release your arms on down. Let your next inhale lengthen your spine. Exhale, right foot back to lunge. We'll move with our breath. Inhale. Exhale into down dog. Let your inhale bring you to your plank, and your exhale lower you down. And inhale into your cobra. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale right foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend your knees, rising all the way up to the top. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward again. Inhale into that long back. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into down dog. Inhale your way out to your plank and let your exhale lower you down. Inhale into that cobra of choice. And exhale back into downward facing dog pose. Inhale. Exhale left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend your knees, rise all the way to the top. And let your exhale carry you forward again. Inhale, nice long back. We're going to find down dog, however you want to get there. Jump or walk your way back. Play a little bit, wag your tail. Move your feet around if you need to. Good. And then we'll meet back, full down dog here. And we're going to bring our left foot forward. And we're coming up for warrior 2, but you might want blocks handy by the front of your mat. So line your heels up, get everything adjusted. Let yourself be mindful there of feeling that alignment in that front knee. And then just to release your shoulders a little bit, bring your right arm under your left, give yourself a hug. You can stay hugging or move into your eagle wrap if that feels even better for your shoulders. And now as you're here in the either hugging or eagle, straighten your front knee out a little bit and just stay with your legs straight for a second. And then see if you can bend that knee and really imagine lining it up. You're not able to look at it at the moment. And then again, straighten that front knee out. Feel the thighs lifting up. Imagine you're trying to make your mat longer with your feet. And then bend the knee again. And we're going to unwind our arms, coming into warrior two arms. Unfolding those arms out, lengthening out through both sets of fingertips. Feeling as wide as you can and as focused as you can out over the top of that left hand there. Good. We're going to straighten our knee out again, and this time we're going to bring the left hand down for a triangle pose. So you know you can use your leg, you can grab a block. Remember, block can be any height. It can be on the inside or the outside of that left leg there. So thighs lift up. And, you know, keep your right hand up if you want, or it's fine to put your right hand down on your hip if you'd rather do that. Take your time. Feel the breath. Feel the length of the torso out over that leg. Now, if you can use your right arm, see if you can let it come down towards your head. You're coming into side stretch. So, no, it's long. Don't bend it. Keep it long and reach that arm so that you come into as much of a stretch through the side waist as you can. Beautiful. Bring the hand on straight back up from the shoulder. We're going to bend the left knee and come on back into warrior two, pressing those feet away from each other as we come. And then we'll bring our hands behind us, and we're going to bring the right shoulder on around and let yourself either bow your head, staying up higher, right? Or you can fold forward over that inner thigh. Some of you may want to release your arms off your back. That is totally optional. Do what you can. Stay there for a breath. And then release arms down so you can find lunge. So you may want your blocks underneath your hands. Release that heel directly behind you. And we're going to add a twist of choice. So you can, if you want, bring your left hand up to your hip. You can stretch it up, totally up to you. You know that. You can do twisted prayer, right elbow to that left knee if you choose to. Just be mindful, one more breath. And then come on back into your lunge, hands down, and we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog pose. Once you're in dog, walk to the tops of the feet for a couple of times, pressing into the tops of the toes. And then come back to dog and lift your right foot up just a little bit and circle your ankle. Keep circling it as the leg gets higher and higher and higher and higher. See if you can keep that circle going until you get into a three-legged dog with the legs straight and you're flexing the foot up there. Well, that was fun. Well, let's lower it down, put that foot down, and now pick the left foot up, start to circle, your knees bent here. And then you're going to start to think about, well, how do I do this? I keep circling, but I lift the leg up. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Kind of makes you think about how to do it. And then keep going until you get as high as you can. Straighten the leg out then and flex the foot. Let yourself take your time there. And then lower the leg on back down to dog. Now you can come into your plank and move through however you want to a back bend if you choose. If you want to do vinyasas or kriyas, you can do as many as you want. You're more than welcome to do none. You can stay in dog. You can put your knees down and rest. All kinds of choices. So let yourself choose how much you want to do. And then finish off, and we'll meet back in down dog. So once you're in dog, take a breath there. Feel those elbows hugging towards each other. And let's bring our right foot forward. We're coming up for that warrior two. So remember, you might want your blocks handy. Line your heels up. Let it feel good. Easy to find that alignment of the legs. We're going to bring our left arm under our right to give a hug here. And again, if coming into an eagle rat feels like a huge relief for your shoulders, do it. If not, stay hugging. So you're here in your warrior two legs for a second. Feel that. So you feel from the feet all the way up through the legs into your hips, and then we're going to straighten that front leg out. We're still staying wrapped. Kind of imagine you're drawing your thighs upward so you're creating space in your knees. Bend that front knee again back into your warrior. Good, and we'll straighten that front leg out again now. So here you are, still wrapped. Thighs are engaging up. Press your feet away from each other like you're trying to lengthen your mat. And then bend that front knee again into warrior. As you unwind, we're just going to let ourselves unfold our arms straight on out into those warrior two arms. Bringing the gaze right out over the top of your right hand and feel the feet in the floor equally. Think of your arches lifting up. And as we straighten that right knee out again, we're going to bring our right hand down for triangle. So again, you can use a block any height, either in front of or behind your leg. You can have your hand on your leg. Feel your thighs lifting upward and the feet pressing away from each other. Good. Feel that length through the spine. Now, if you can add the left arm going ahead to come down long and just get it closer to your head and side stretch, turn your palm down towards the ground. You can do that. Feel those thighs still lifting up. Beautiful. And then bring the arm back straight on up. One more breath here in triangle. If you want to turn to look up towards that left hand, by all means do. And now, as you start to bend that front knee, we're going to come on back into warrior two, pressing those feet away from each other as we come. And now let your arms come on down. Clasp your hands behind you. Turn that left shoulder a little more forward. You might just want to bow your head. You don't have to go low here. You know, it might feel really good to actually feel yourself come out over that inner thigh. Lifting the arms up, though, away is really something your shoulders have to determine if they'll do it, right? So be where you can. One more breath. And then as your hands come down, you may want your blocks. We're going to turn into a lunge here, so letting yourself really release that heel directly behind you. Your twist of choice. Keep left hand grounded if you want, right hand on up to the right hip, or stretch the right arm up, or twisted prayer if you want to bring that left elbow across to your right knee. You're more than welcome to do that. So enjoy. One more breath. And then we'll release to come on back, and we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog pose. Have fun with it. Whatever you want to do it now. You know, you can put your knees down. You can take your time. Stay in dog. Rest in dog. You don't have to add any kind of back bends. If you like to come out to plank and back to dog, maybe you just need to rest, right? Be really mindful of what you feel the best to do right now. Good. And then finish off, especially if you're doing something that goes one side to the other. Make sure you even yourself out. And then we will meet back again in our downward facing dog pose. And this time we will bring our left foot forward, and we're coming up for warrior one, and do have both your blocks handy here again. Take your time, get that back foot established if you can, as you rise up and reach your arms forward. And then bring the arms up overhead. So you can bring the arms up straight from the shoulders or widen them if that's better. You can also leave your arms forward. You know that. Just be mindful of your shoulders. Keep your gaze forward here for a second. And just let yourself, in this basic warrior one, just feel the pose. Feel your whole body here in the pose. And then bend your elbows, clasp your hands behind your head, and let the elbows hug in a little bit towards your face. And then let the elbows rise up, and you're actually pressing your head gently into your hands. Feel the lift of your belly. Your tailbone is still reaching back on that kind of diagonal downward line, right? So you can stay right here. You can start to extend your arms up. You can do this, sending your pointer finger up if you like that mudra in your warrior one. Or you can separate your hands or keep them down. You know, if you feel like it feels great to support your head, stay there if you want to. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to release our arms on down. We're going to straighten the front knee out. Get your hips squared around. Bring your arms down alongside you. And now really spread your fingers out. Your palms face each other. And you're going to come forward into pyramid with your arms reaching way back behind you, right? So you're thinking about the fingertips reaching way back behind you. Let yourself come forward with that long back. So stay as long as you can without putting your hands down. Let yourself go as far as you want to go. And then when you're ready, release your hands on down to whatever surface you want to use. If you need to adjust your stance a little bit, do. Sometimes once the hands get down, it's just much better to adjust your stance a little bit. Keep that back heel grounded. Feel your thighs continually lifting upward. You can be nice and long backed here. You can fold forward if you want to over that front leg. Good. One more breath. And now, we're going to walk around from here into a wide-legged forward bend. So if you want your blocks with you, you can use them just like they're extensions of your hands, right? Come on around, get your feet pretty parallel here. Bend both your knees. Let yourself lift your toes up if you can with your knees bent, which can be a challenge, that's for sure. And then let your toes release on back down. Keep your knees bent for a second. Let your elbows come to rest above your knees, and the tips of your fingers and your thumbs touch there underneath your belly, right? And then just be mindful. Really enjoy this squat here. Good, and then bring your hands back down, whether it's to the floor or blocks. Turn your toes out a little bit and bend your right knee. And then bend your left knee and let yourself shift to the other side. And then bend your right knee again. Lift your left foot up to just the heel being on the floor. Stay there a breath. And then come back, bend the left knee, lift the right foot up so you're on the heel. Let yourself be there for a breath. Now if you want to go deeper into that last step, bend the right knee, let the foot come up, be on your heel. Put your left hand to give you support however you need, and you can let yourself come down. And that right heel can come up off the floor here. It doesn't matter whether it stays on or off the floor. And then come on back through center and try the other side. So you walk your hands over, you lift the right foot to the heel. And again, you can always put your right hand behind you to support you, whatever helps you, right? You don't have to do these deep all the way down, you know that. And then come on back up to center. We're going to bring our toes back forward so we're more parallel. And now set up however you want to be with your breath. Let it just feel like, oh, what's going to feel like the biggest relief ever. So, play with blocks if you want to. Let your head be on blocks for a change, or let yourself, play with a different place for your arms to go. After all this stuff we've done with the hands clasped behind, some of you may actually want to clasp your hands and let the arms just hang off and forward off your back. So, be mindful. You could switch several times. Just it's kind of like when you find the place you want to stay for a few breaths, it's like a relief. It's like, oh, your whole body just sighs when you get there. So just follow your breath. Once you're settled in a little bit, in and out. See if you can concentrate on the word so when you inhale, and hum when you exhale. Translating to mean I am that. So you can just so, hum, let yourself quiet down. Start to lengthen out. We're going to walk back over to that left foot to come on back into lunge. So take your time, get there how you need, and then we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. So be mindful. Again, put your knees down if you'd rather. If you'd rather stay in dog, do. You don't have to do anything at all here. Good. Finish off the one you're on if you are doing some vinyasas or kriyas. And from here, we are going to bring our right foot forward. We're coming up for warrior one on the other side. So you want your blocks in there maybe. Bring your shoulders on around square. Take your time as you reach your arms forward. Your legs are established. When the arms start to float up, there's this huge lift in the front of the body. So at first, just keep your gaze forward there. Turn your pinkies inward a little bit towards each other so you feel that space between your shoulders and your ears. Enjoy the basic warrior one, the opening through the front of the left hip. And then bend your elbows, bring your hands behind your head, and draw your elbows inward a little bit, or towards each other a little bit. And then again, you can rise them up. You can feel your head gently pressing into your hands. And whether you want to stay there or extend your arms up, you can always do that hand mudra with the pointer finger up. Hugging your elbows in. Bringing even more lift now to the front of your body and a more release down the back of your body. Nice. And then bring your gaze back forward if it's not already. Open your arms on out beside you. Straighten the front knee out. And now, if you have to adjust to get your hip pointers around square in your legs, do it. Arms beside you, spread your fingers wide. Palms face each other, face inward, right? And then you're going to start to, as you come forward with your torso, reach back with your hands. Let yourself come as far as you can without putting your hands down. Thighs are lifting up towards the hips. You're drawing your left hip pointer bone towards the right. Take your time. Keep reaching back through your hands and reach out through the top of your head. When you're ready to put your hands down, you can be any support you want. And you can again adjust your legs, your feet if you need to once you get down. So you can keep that back long. You can fold over the front leg if you choose to. That's totally up to you. Good. One more breath. Up a bit if you were folded over your leg. Bend that front knee a bit to walk on around into center. And now get your feet established. And once you kind of get your wide angle the way you want it, keep walking your hands over towards your left foot. And you can go all the way to it, or you can stay out in front of it. See if you can bring your left hand to your left hip. Maybe roll that shoulder up. And then bring the left hand on back down. We're going to walk back through center. You can again use blocks, or you can have your hands on the floor. If you go to the outside of the foot, just be mindful. You can always stay in front of the foot. Right hand goes to the right hip, and you can roll your shoulder up if you can. And then bring your hand on back down. Let yourself come back into center. And again, try to get yourself into the most comfortable place for you to be in this pose. Let your head really be able to hang, or use a block to support it if you feel like that feels better, right? You can always put your hands to your ankles or between your feet, or walk your hands back behind you if that feels fine for you. And again, whatever brings you to your breath. From here, we're going to walk ourselves out. We're going to actually come up to standing from here, so keep your feet apart if you can. You can bring your hands to your thighs or your hips, but work your way all the way up to standing. And then just for fun, see if you can jump your feet together from here. So jump your feet together. Yeah, we hardly ever try that anymore, right? Doesn't matter how old you get, you can still jump, right? So let's walk our feet out a little bit. We're going to bring our mats all the way into a wall actually here. So got to kind of figure out where everybody's going. Martin, you can come right here by me on that wall, and then somebody else, maybe you, Randy, can go over there when Lana gets hers turned. I believe 3 people. Yeah. Yeah, you can be like, yeah, like right where those blocks are. Right where your blocks are about. You know, just right where, yeah. I think that'll work. 3 there, 2
Need our
there, 2
straps
there.
over here. We need
Yeah,
our-
bring everything. We're staying, and we do need the straps, like right now, in fact. So, bring everything with you. We're staying, and get a hold of your strap. And take your time. We're gonna do our little strap stretch where we bring our left hand towards the wall. We haven't done this one in a while, right? And we're gonna step our right foot, ball of the foot, into that strap. So take your time to do that. That didn't work. I'll try this. And get yourself situated where you've got the strap right across the base of your big toe mound or little toe mound. And then hold it with your right hand so that you can lift that foot up in front of you. Go ahead, bend the knee. Let yourself feel the ball of the foot pressing into the strap a little bit. It's like you're stepping up a step. And then come into that straighter leg. Now, if you want to go higher with the leg, go ahead and hold closer to your foot. Let yourself get the leg up as high as you want, and see if you can bring your left hand up the wall and maybe even release and balance there. So if it's not a good balance day, it doesn't matter. Just put your hand back on the wall, right? Be where you can. And then we're going to open that leg out to the side, rotating the heel forward. Now remember, it's not a true side. If you go all the way to the side, for most people, it throws their hips off. You want your hips to stay square to the wall you're facing, right? So really, it's about 45-degree angle for most of us. And then you can let the wall go there and bounce a little bit there, pressing into the strap with the ball of your foot. Good. And now bring the foot back to the front. Again, you can balance a second. And then bring the leg down, bring the foot behind you, bring your strap over your shoulder. You're either on the ankle or the top of your right foot, hopefully. If you're not, you can adjust. Now, at first, keep the strap on your shoulder. Bend your left knee a little bit, and then send your knee back and let your chest come forward. Keep your left knee bent a little bit. Press into the strap with the foot. That right there is kind of fun. You can balance a little bit right there if you want. Let go of the wall. And then come back upright. Bring the knee back down. And see if you can lift your strap over your head so you're holding onto the strap right over your head or a little behind your head. And maybe you want to bring both hands onto that strap, and that is a hard balance. If you want to, you can do it. If you can send yourself a little bit forward, pressing into that strap, keep a little bend in that supporting knee so you're not locking it, maybe you can balance there. And come down whenever you choose. Take your time and really work out that hip you're standing on. If you need to release a little bit, do it. And we're going to go to the other side. So actually that'll be the biggest release, doing this on the other side. So we're going to step our left foot into the strap. Right hand is on the wall. Step up like you're stepping up that step. Again, now make sure you're not throwing your shoulders back. It's really easy to throw your shoulders back here. Think about your shoulders being over your hips. Send your right hand higher up the wall if you can. Maybe you can think of balancing. Good. And then, if you like it straight, come straighter leg. Totally up to you there. It's actually easier to balance with it straight, isn't it? And then from there, see about opening to the side. It doesn't have to be high. You want to let that leg be long and it's outwardly rotated. Heel rotates forward. Hips are still square. Good. You can balance there if you want. Now bring the leg back to the front. You can use the wall if you need. You know that. Put your foot down so you can bring the leg behind you. Bend the knee over your shoulder. So put it over your shoulder so that you can then bend the front knee, bend the standing knee a little bit, and then come a little forward with your chest and back with your knee. Press into the strap. You may want to balance there, you may not. And then, if you can come right back up and lift the strap over your head. And then this is the hardest one, trying to hold on to the strap with both hands. And again, you can send the knee back a little bit, let your chest come forward. Good. Nice. Nobody's locking their knee there. Beautiful. And then come on down and let yourself release. Send your hips back to the wall. And from there, if you're okay to do this, I mean, you can put your elbows above your knees and be perfectly happy. If you're okay to straighten your legs out and fold forward over your legs, maybe that'll be a big release. If not, don't do it. You know, don't do it. If it bothers you, keep your elbows above your knees and your back straight and long. Good. And now we're right in position here to real easily, you might have to use your hand to push your bottom away from the wall. Come forward with your hands. Walk your feet back. We're going to come on down to our bellies here, and we're going to come on to our forearms. We're going to get our feet close enough to the wall to where we can touch the baseboard with our balls of our feet. And we're going to lift up into a forearm plank with our heels up the wall, up at the top of the baseboard. For most of us, are a little below that because some of us have bigger feet. So take your time. You can look at your feet. You can kind of tell a lot, you know. I have issues with one of my feet, so man, this really shows you when you're uneven with your toes and your feet. And then come on back down. We're going to roll onto our right forearm. You can bring your knees forward a little bit if you'd like, if that helps you, just to come into right being with your elbow under your shoulder, and your right forearm is a little bit forward, so the hand comes a little towards the front corner of your mat. So there's a slight angle, and you're more than welcome to stay there. If you want a little bit, but not a lot, right? You can straighten just the top leg out. You can put it on the wall, and you can stretch your top arm up. And that's a side plank. If you press into that forearm, that might be enough. Of course, if you want the one where you stretch the bottom leg long, put the top foot on the floor, you can do that one, which is a little more. And of course, there's always that full side forearm plank if you choose to go there. So it's up to you. If you want more, put your left hand behind your head, curl your left elbow down towards the ground, and then inhale and bring it back up. So if you want some work through the abs while you're doing these, more power to you. You can add it all together, or you can go, no way, Jose, and you can come down when you're ready and right away shift onto your other side. So get the elbow right under the shoulder. And again, that hand is just slightly towards the corner of your mat. You're pressing down into the forearm. If you want the one that's not quite so bad, you can stretch the top leg out and just let your arm come up. And there's a side plank variation. It's not like you're not doing anything. I'm telling you, you're pressing into that forearm. Or you can stretch the bottom leg out and bend the top foot to put in front of you, and then let yourself come into lifting up your hips there. Or you can come to the full one. You can do the right hand behind the head, curling the elbow down as you exhale and up as you inhale. Sometimes just a few of those go a long way. Finish off whenever you're ready. And then when you do, shift back, get your toes to touch the wall. Shift back onto your forearms. So don't go all the way to child's pose. Be on your forearms here. Clasp your hands, send your pinky finger out. And see if you can go ahead and move up into a dolphin. And it might feel like the biggest relief ever, actually. So if it doesn't, and you're like, well, no, that does not feel like relief. I don't want to do it. Don't do it. But after all that kind of work on side planks, it's kind of like, wow, my shoulders can do this more easily now. And every day's a new day. That's not true every day. I know that. So, you know, if you like to walk up, and some of you are already up the wall. So that is totally up to you. You know, to be mindful. Take your time. you're ready to rest, you come down and rest however you choose, whether it's in child's pose, or maybe it feels better to get your head up above your heart. Just be mindful. Take your time. If you need to go up one more time, go ahead and let it be now so we can finish off in another few seconds. We are going to come around. Take your time. If you're just finishing, that's fine. We are going to come around to sitting. So those of us who are done, let's bring our legs on around. Sit for a second. Let yourself release. Good. And then let's come into a little seated forward bend. Grab a blanket if you need. Put support underneath your knees if you need. Remember, if you're tight in your hamstrings and your low back, being up higher, kind of to the edge of a blanket, and having your knees bent can sometimes just so much make a difference in coming forward from your low back, right? So the point isn't just to, throw yourself over your legs and curl your tailbone forward, right? So just be really mindful, letting yourself come where you can. Whether you like to use, you can use your blocks beside you. Sometimes that feels good to put your blocks out beside you and to let yourself come forward with your blocks helping you. Good. One more breath. Back up, and from here, let's take our blocks. Actually, if you know you hate this one, don't even bother to do it, but if you like to lay back a little bit on blocks, one block turned like the long way so that it can be underneath your shoulder blades at the lowest height of the block, and the other block under your head, whether it's the same height or a higher height than the block under your shoulder blades, where you can actually really open up into your back bend here. It's a little fish variation. Knees can be up, legs can be in Baddha Konasana. I can bring you support if you need, or you can stretch your legs down long. And I know some people like to do this pose with their head down even lower rather than higher. And it's finding the right place for this block under the shoulder blades that's important. So if you know that you hate this, don't do it. Do a little bridge pose if you'd rather, by all means. Just for a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes here, just let yourself kind of find what feels best for you. And if this doesn't feel good, do a bridge and not bow if you'd rather. Just let yourself enjoy a little openness there in the front of the body. Take your time, because when you're ready to come out off the blocks, if you're on the blocks, really kind of the best part is when you come down and you feel the floor underneath you again. And let your knees come into your chest. So be mindful of once you're down on the floor on your mat. Bring your knees on into your chest. And let's actually do either a figure four. Either do a figure four where you bring your right leg in, cross your right ankle above your left knee, draw your legs in. Or you might want to do a full reclined pigeon where you draw your leg in and hug your lower leg in towards you with your leg long on the floor. So that's your choice. If you like that reclined pigeon where you hug and draw that lower leg in and keep your left leg long, then you can do that. And if you'd rather do the figure 4, do. So that you find just a little more release for the hips in whatever way works for you. And then we're going to release that side so that we can switch. So when you're ready, just letting yourself come into that left leg, either crossing the ankle above the knee in that figure 4, or coming into that reclined pigeon where you're drawing the lower leg in towards you. And perhaps your body is saying, I need to do something else. So if that is the case, by all means, listen. And once you feel like your hips are kind of evened out, if there's something else that sounds good, if you like a happy baby or a plow pose or a, any other kind of a twist here, even just knees side to side, feet on the floor, or be mindful. I'm going to start to walk around so that I can bring things, anything that might be helpful. Remember, you have a wall. All of you have a wall there at your head. If you want to turn around and put your legs up the wall, you're more than welcome to do that. I also have all these different size bolsters, blankets. If you need a pillow, if you need support, wave at me. You know you want to get comfortable, and that might be any number of things for all of us in here. There is no right or wrong way in which to us. There's only being able to relax. So, wave if you need anything here at the studio and at home. Try to get comfortable. And just allow yourself to release into your breath. Whatever helps you, bring your focus back to your breath. Counting, or a mantra, or a word. Just enjoy allowing your body, your brain to have these few minutes here to fully benefit from what you just did. All you need to do is find those little quiet places and let your body and your brain do what it knows how to do. And let yourself completely and fully relax. sending the breath all the way out through your body to refresh you all the way out to the tips of your fingers and your toes. And when you get ready to wiggle and move the extremities, just take your time to move on up into your hands and feet. You might want to circle around a little bit, your ankles, your wrists. You might want to let your head go side to side too. Do what your body needs to do to come back to easily moving again. Stretching or bending. Or just take your time. You're welcome to roll to either your right or your left side. If you're okay to be on your side, you can use your arm as a pillow if you don't have a blanket there, and let yourself just give the brain and the body a little longer to adjust there. Just be mindful when you do feel like you're ready to come up to sitting. Try to stay very relaxed and feel very soft, and let your hips get comfortable in the way you're sitting, so adjust how you need. And once you lengthen up and start to feel your head floating up there on top, feel really easy across your chest and your upper back. Receive your breaths. Once you get up there, receive your breaths in and out through your nose, and let yourself watch them again, all the way in and all the way out. And on your next exhale, softly let your hands come to meet there in front of your chest. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste. Happy Tuesday. That's right. So thank you all